Good evening, friends. Welcome to the Leader's Edge, Episode 1, Season.
Everyone, and welcome to our weekly webcast called The Leader's Edge. We are here tonight.
Welcome to episode number 7, Season
Leader's Edge. And in our show today, which is Season 6,
Leader's Edge, Season 3, Episode 10. And
I'm Nelson T. Welcome to this super special episode of The Leader's Edge.
And this is episode 8 of season 6.
Hey guys, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world.
We are now on our season 6, episode 2. And tonight, we have an amazing and a wonderful
Good day. Welcome to the kickoff event of A.N.P.O.D, Asian Network of People and Organization Development, a network among independent people development and organizations, champions in Asia. We already have 12 Asian countries, more than 20 people, and organizational experts. We exchange expertise, knowledge, and ideas, and serve the communities by events and white papers. And today is the day, the official kickoff of the launching of A.N.P.O.D. And I am so happy to tell everybody that it started only with, you can count by your fingers, Musharoff Hossain from Bangladesh, and then Dr. Yugesh from India, and then we had Ari from Malaysia. Then Musharoff invited me, so I became number 4. And now, look at us, we have 10 speakers today. This is a great occasion for us to share all the accumulated years of knowledge and skills from all of our experts here today. So let me first start with our keynote speaker. And let me formally introduce him to you. Musharoff Hossain is a PhD scholar with 35 years of experience in various international organizations. He is the current president of the HR Federation in Bangladesh, past president of the Asia Pacific Federation of HRMs and Bangladesh Society for Human Resources Management, past board member, World HR Federation. So let us now hear from our virtual stage, Mr. Musharoff Hossain.
Thank you, Dina, for your very generous introduction about myself and inviting me in the first virtual program of A.N.P.O.D on the day of the launching day. So this have been a pleasure moment, and I am very glad to see all my friends are on time here. Today our webinar topic is creating a drama-free workplace. This is apparently a new topic, and each of us will be speaking. It is my privilege to give you 5 to 6 minutes keynote presentation for the interest of the audience so that they understand what is all about this. I am sharing some of my slides. Okay. So a drama-free workplace, this is a very old item, but very recently it has been researched, and now it is coming on the surface. What is workplace drama? Basically, this is an obstacle of our peace of prosperity, the obstacle that can bias in our head, and the employees causing you grief, or the economic situation that has everyone in a state of the panic about the job security. So this is, anyway, this is not a good thing, but this is happening in the organization, almost in every organization. Some people recognize it, some people do not recognize it. So what are the components of the drama? There are three major components of the workplace drama: lack of clarity, it is relationship issues, and the resistance on some good things. Why? What causes of drama? Workplace drama turn into absenteeism, turnover, or lawsuits, ignoring, avoiding, or denying that drama only increases its power. Drama manifests in various ways in the workplace: insubordination, backstabbing, petty argument, power struggling, and all manner of the employees' relationship issues. So you can understand these are not good things, but we do not recognize often. So how to reduce the workplace drama? Always give others the benefit of doubt. Assume noble intent. Remind people that venting does not resolve anything. Diffuse suffering from imagined stories rather than reality. Use empathy when employees' ego is creating doubts and chaos. Confirm that challenge is the only way. Remember that engagement requires accountability for result. Remove resistance to change as a source of drama. Communicate that personal preference do not drive the business. Check your own ego before you attempt to engage others. Develop accountability through coaching and mentoring. So these are some of the issues. I will just speak one more minute. And another issue, that most of the workplace drama started because of the less engagement of the people. And I had the opportunity to conduct a worldwide employee engagement survey when I was the board member of the World Federation, and I found less than 50% people are fully engaged, others are not engaged. When people are not engaged, then this sort of drama started. So we have to strike how we can increase the employee engagement in the organization, and this is a huge issue. Last year, Gallup has conducted a survey worldwide, and they also found 51%. So this is an alarming issue. The more we can engage our people with the organization and their job, this will reduce. Otherwise, this drama can continue, and it's hindering our productivity and the profitability of the organization. With these few words, I am just kicking off this topic for others. Thank you very much.
Mr. Musharoff, and we now call on our first panelist, first speaker, and let me pull up the screen for that. Yes. So our first panel speaker is Janaka Kumarasinghe from Sri Lanka. He's a director of Kentridge PVT Limited and executive director of Valibel Finance PLC. A billion, let me see this. Technology, president of Chartered Institute of Personnel Management Sri Lanka, CIPM, and Asia Pacific Federation of HRM, a master's graduate of National University of Singapore. Let us give our warm welcome to our virtual stage, Mr. Janaka.
Thank you, Dina, for that nice introduction. Yes, I am the past president of CIPM and Asia Pacific Federation too. All the world's stage, and all the men and women merely plays. And one man in his time plays many parts, says Shakespeare in As You Like It. So and when you talk of organizations, there are people involved in organizations. So they play different roles. There are emotions involved. So there is a tendency that drama to happen in organizations. So as leaders, we need to understand. I can remember a little story where I was in a meeting, where in an organization, where inside the meeting room, a meeting goes smoothly. Little talk and things are okay. But after the meeting, only the real meeting takes place. People are talking, cross-talking, criticizing, and a lot of drama outside. Why? The senior, even these are senior people, they don't like to talk openly in front of their leader. So when you're talking of drama in the organization, leaders play a huge role. So there should be more transparency. There should be clear direction, but how we should flow. And also, when you're talking of direction, even from HR perspective, apart from leaders giving direction, these KPIs, performance management, and all will also set the direction in line with the organization objectives, can align the people behavior with this. So need to have clear direction. But having said that, you can't have a drama-free organization. There will be always people, the unhappy people, these things. So there should be mechanisms in the organizations. That's where you have HR departments, grievance handling channels, and other things, coaching, mentoring taking place. So these things should be also be there to minimize the drama and waste of time due to this thing. But of course, you can't totally eradicate it. But as an organization, as a leadership, we should try to see how we direct most people's energy towards achieving goals and objectives of the organizations. That's my brief message for the time being. Thank you, Dina.
Thank you. Thank you, Janaka. And may I remind our viewers to please start putting your questions in the chat, because we are going to hear from other speakers and we want everybody's memory to be fresh so you know what questions to ask. Thank you. And our next speaker is P.S. Daram. He brings with him over 35 years of managerial and industrial practice in manufacturing and total supply chain in human resource development, competency profiling, and performance management improvement in Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, Hong Kong, China, Indonesia, Vietnam, Qatar, Bahrain, U.A.E, and UK. As you can see, he has been around. So let's welcome Mr. Daram.
Thank you very much, Madam Dina, for your beautiful introduction of me. I feel so humbled by you saying all those things. But let me just start by saying to my fellow members and fellow speakers here, a very good afternoon to all of you, and good morning to Dr.
Daram, you are mute. Daram, you are mute.
Unmuted myself. Okay. Good evening to all of you. And let me start by saying this, that drama-free, I think drama-free could be a nice thing to say. And let me say this by saying, drama could mean something entertaining, sometimes mysterious, and sometimes very disturbing too. In any given work culture, workplace drama is inevitable. If we aspire to have a drama-free environment, then channeling competitive energy into the purpose and the organization's success can and possibly develop a drama-free workplace. Now, in a stable process-driven manufacturing environment, where manpower, equipment, and raw material are fixed commodities, the need to meet production schedules to delight the customer or the boss becomes the variable source that causes the turbulence at the workplace. That's number one. Now, more importantly today, we are here to find some clues to overcome this turbulence. Let me relate to the experience of Viktor E. Frankl while in prison during the Second World War through his book, Man's Search for Meaning. Now, in his book, he had three objectives about the drama that he encountered in the prison. And one of the first thing that he said is to survive. That's the first thing. And the second thing is to use his medical knowledge to help where he could to get the prisoners out of that place. And the third thing is to learn something. Now, with these three, while in prison, committing suicide is a common thing, and he relates to two men. For one, it was his child who was waiting in a foreign country, and the other, a scientist who had yet written a book, yet to be finished. Now, this is beautiful. Once this was explained and reminded to them, they accepted it, and it worked to empower themselves to survive. In this, he uses a metaphor for which I'm going to relate to a working environment of a turbulent river, and one has to cross. Sometimes the river is calm, but sometimes it's turbulent. The mission is to cross it. If we jump into it, we'll be swept away. But if we use a rope and hold it tight to the values and the principles of what we need to achieve and stay focused, we will. We need to use our muscles, mind, and most importantly, the vision and the objective, and communicate to ourselves and the team, we will reach our destination. Now, in his summary, he makes it very clear that all those who made it through had something significant yet to do in the future. Yes, if you are able to see it in the right perspective based on the following. The number one on the list is a status relationship. Placing a person in a superior or subordinate relationship itself acts as a barrier to effective communication, considering the current workforce diversity characteristics of the generation. Now, moving on, a subordinate may only reveal or say what the superior likes to hear or wants to hear. In most instances, subordinates cover up their mistakes and shortfalls. An executive, on the other hand, cannot admit the mistakes to the subordinates, as it would adversely affect his ability, the image, and the respect with the workers. Now, the second thing that can happen in an organization is distortion. Distortion in communication occurs in organizations due to misleading circumstances and conditions. Some communicators have a tendency to amplify the message they receive and convey. Distortion is less of an international manipulation rather than filtering. Distortion also occurs when messages goes through too many people and intermediary. Now, danger of assumption is the third element that I like to cover. Now, this is a common barrier, and over the years, I've noticed that superiors tend to assume that the message conveyed are clear and need no further explanation or checking. And this causes a severe misunderstanding among subordinates. For obvious reasons, say yes. The subordinate will say yes for a superior. So my recommendation, superior, is to request the subordinates to say in his own or her own words to express what was said rather than saying, do you understand? That's the rule. Therefore, through these three areas that I have mentioned, that's number one, status relationship, number two, distortion, and third, the danger of assumption. Though there are many other reasons for such dramas in any organization, acknowledging these three can possibly create a drama-free workplace. In conclusion, we need to set the compass to promote and encourage transactional analysis effectively. If we are unable to encourage a drama-free workplace, it would reflect very adversely on us as HR practitioners. And therefore, it is necessary that as HR practitioners, we must find ways to overcome these three main concerns that is prevalent in addition to other factors that may influence drama in organizations. Overcoming status relationship, which is a greater barrier, minimizing distortion of information that misleads or which gives the wrong signal to the employees, and address issues in the open to avoid the danger of assumption to mutate in navigating the business or the human resource strategy. With this, I say thank you very much for the time that you've allocated for me. If you have some questions, we'll answer you at the later part of the session. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And so we have our next speaker coming up. I really enjoyed listening to that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we have our next speaker, Carsten Ley, founder, experience management, agile and OKR consultant, Asia PMO, entrepreneur, enabler, and project lead in employee experience, project and business transformation, leading large-scale project implementations in Europe, Latin America, and Southeast Asia. After his 20-plus year career for companies like Deloitte, Germany, Volkswagen, Mexico, Rolls-Royce, UK, and Lazada, Vietnam, he founded in 2018 Asia PMO. His consulting firm is focusing on getting clients fast and efficient into implementation of company objectives, customer and employee experience improvements. He was recently elected in the top 150 CX global thought leaders. And welcome to our virtual stage, Carsten.
Thank you very much, Ms. Dina, for this great introduction. So, drama-free workspace, as one of the previous speakers already said, you cannot avoid drama. So I think it's more about the timing that it pops up very fast and you react very fast, or you can detect it before it blows up, honestly, right? But no drama. In a lot of companies, when we do OKR, objective and key result, 0% targets are not achievable. 0% complaints, 0% drama. Don't even try. You will burn a lot of resources. So it should be by diminishing, reacting fast. Now, the first thing what is very important, what we do when we speak about objective, key results and goal setting, a lot of drama can be avoided if it's very clear in which direction a company is going and what people should participate to support the company to go in this direction. So you really have clear strategy, clear goal setting, you communicate it very openly. We see that a lot of companies, it's like it's only communicated by silos, by teams, yeah, and the teams don't know what the other teams are doing, yeah. So open, transparent communication, also what other teams achieve. So in OKR, we have a fully transparent performance sheet, and we see how the teams, which teams perform, which teams not, but it's not about blaming, it's about helping each other. So a very collaborative culture, a very transparent culture. The second thing I would like to emphasize is employee experience. Employee experience is not only a HR topic. So you can put system in place where you frequently or even constantly ask people for their feedback and ask people how they feel. We have seen companies, they have a screensaver or an entry screen every morning where every employee has to say, how do you feel, with 3 smileys, yeah? Bad, okay, or good. And of course, if you put bad, nobody comes to your desk. But as a data set, not as an individual set, you see on which days the whole company feels bad, medium, and you can relate it to events, right? I mean, what was happening, why they feel bad, and then you can improve on that. You can do very frequent employee experience or employee engagement surveys. Don't do it only once a year. I mean, very bad companies do their survey once a year, exactly after the company trip. Of course, everybody is happy after the company trip, but that doesn't mean they don't leave in 1 hour, in 1 week, right? So be very careful to ask frequently, a lot of feedback on different channels, because not everybody wants to go into a one-to-one channel with their superior. So you also need anonymous channels, survey channels, maybe peer groups where people are among peers and can talk to each other, and so on, right? So think about how people feel comfortable to give feedback in a nice setting, and please detect things as early as possible in this peer group. I can give you an example from my time in Home Credit Vietnam. We had a badminton group. And you say, okay, badminton, I pay money that people do sport, that's good. But I was a project manager in Home Credit, and through the badminton group, I knew key stakeholders which were important for my project. You don't know how, which I normally don't know, because normally companies are very siloed. So through the badminton group, and everybody could participate, no matter which department, no matter which rank, I met important people to drive my project forward and to have fun at the same time. So don't underestimate peer groups, yeah? Informal peer groups is a very good channel. And the third thing I want to mention now in very modern times, we speak a lot about employee empowerment and bottom-up communication and bottom-up feedback. Now, what we see with our clients also in Southeast Asia, too much empowerment and bottom-up feedback doesn't work. Your people need to be ready to go agile. So all this hype from the US with agile and self-organized team only works when you have a very participative and a very educated workforce. And you cannot force it on people, because of course you can go to your people and say, I want to know bottom up, what is the direction of the company? But a lot of people would say, that's not my job, because you are the manager, you get paid to tell me what's the direction of the team. Yeah. So self-empowerment, agile is wonderful, but your company has to be ready for that. And if your company is not ready for that, top down is not so bad, because people like clear direction. Yeah. So don't confuse empowerment and giving freedom to people with an excuse that you as a leader don't give directions anymore. Because that's a big problem in this agile hype. So ideally a mix, test your people, as we said, objective and key result, give very clear direction where the company should go, and let people have idea how they can participate. But if they don't have idea, give them to that, and apply employee experience, get feedback as much as you can, fix it, get better, give surprises. Employee experience is like customer experience. It's the same important in company. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Carsten. Yes, you do have a lot of perspectives, and I can see it's broadening my mind as well. Thank you so much. And we have from the U.A.E, Ramon, Austria. He is a resource person and educator, 3 decades of professional IT career, entrepreneur and seasoned business executive, Middle East and Southeast Asia. Let's hear it now in our virtual stage, and let's welcome him, Ramon, Austria.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, my dear mentor. And good afternoon to our viewers online. The way I would like to approach that drama, creating a drama-free, is I would like to approach it somehow on a practical do's and don'ts, okay? And my journey towards creating a drama-free, it's not easy. In fact, I felt bad. In the first few months I landed here in the Middle East, I underperformed. And I received a feedback from my manager, if you will not shape up, we'll ship you out. Okay? So obviously, I need to do something. And then it took me time to realize, all right? I'm bringing in a different culture and a different mindset. And the way for me to be successful or to blend with my team is the first thought that I created. First, I must see through their hole. So I learn, right? So learning, observing them on how to do things. My problem is that I am a very sensitive professional. I don't want people shouting at me. I don't want people confronting me. I said, the moment they do that, then it's the end of my day. I cannot concentrate. I cannot focus. Then I realized, look, it seems that's the kind of a norm, how things being done in the Middle East. It is normal for them to shout. It is normal for them to confront. And maybe I should learn how to adopt. And true enough, right? I opened myself and said, okay, this is how I would like to think, behave, and act. And lo and behold, after that, right? Even though I received shouting, I'm still sensitive, but I don't take it personally. And I recalibrated my mindset that I'm able to actually contribute, right? So learning is very important for me. And as I said, I learned it the hard way. The second thing, I realized because you as a professional, you have your own set of working styles and preferences. But not all those. One size doesn't fit all. So I need to unlearn. Okay, these things will work. This thing will not work. This thing, somehow I need to try. This thing, maybe I need to do it on a gradual or incremental approach. And I realize we as brown collar Filipino, there are certain elements we can add in any project that we get involved. Okay, this is what I need to do. And unlearning as such helped me to readjust and work better with some of my colleagues, especially on the project. And then I'm doing well. So the next evaluation I received from my manager, what have you done? People beginning to like you, not because I would like to be somebody else or I need to be somebody else's identity, but I said, I learn to learn and I learn to unlearn. And here's the thing, it's not enough that unlearning will become automatic in ourselves. So I need to create such a system, right? And doing that is you need to reinforce a certain system or a certain habit so that I can better perform. And in this time, I'm indebted actually, I think James Clear from his book, Atomic Habits, just 1% better every day, right? I didn't realize in running the project that people are now coming to me, asking for help, asking for this support, asking for hinder there. So I earned a moniker on the project as the go-to guy. Though I should say it's a two-edged sword for you to become a go-to guy, because even at the wee hours of the morning, I'm receiving call that they would like to have a support for this, all right? But such an experience proved, and later on, that's why I said, for me to become successful, I need to continue to engage, all right? So that my journey towards a drama-free, creating a drama-free workplace is a lure, the acronym that I will use. So first, I learn. Second, I unlearn. Third is I relearn. And the letter E is engage. And I think this, what I would like to separate the boys among the men, right? And having to engage, they will see, especially my colleagues, from not just you are good at the start of the project, but especially in closing the project. So to speak, I don't drop the ball. And when the going gets tough, we need to get going. So folks, for our listeners and for our viewers, creating a drama-free workplace, lure, learning, unlearning, relearning, and engage. Back to you. Ms. Dina.
Yes, thank you, Ramon, thank you. Well, of course, Ramon Austria, to his good friends, he is Monching, to people who are close to him. And it's really, yes, you learned, you learned a lot and you learned fast, Monching. Thank you. And I'm so excited with our next speaker because he actually got to wake up early in the morning to be with us because he's not in India, but he is in America right now. So Dr. Yugesh Kumar Upadhyay is a fellow of two reputed Indian institutions. He holds doctorate degrees in organizational management from Savitribai Phule Pune University. He is postgraduate in human resource management and industrial relations, business laws, and economics. Let's welcome Dr. Yugesh.
Afternoon. Thank you, Ms. Dina, for a nice introduction. For me, it has been given an understanding by the opening remarks of Mr. Musharoff. The Dharma is obstacle to peace and prosperity. And peace and prosperity are the essential ingredient for industrial prosperity also. Peace is really essential, and we can have peace when we have drama-free or workplace. But rightly said by Carsten, zero is not desirable. We should not achieve super excellence. And since we are dealing with drama-free workplace, it is our duty to understand what drama is, what are the symptoms, and then taking control of three aspects, which Mr. Ramon said: the self as an employee, self as a leader, and also a team. And some of the behavior which I have read somewhere, with the manager who is very disruptive, can you afford that behavior? Boss also, who doesn't support even after agreeing in privately to do so. There may be female employee who is acting like a queen bee, and there are relational problems like IT manager and HR manager, power struggle and all. I came through a wonderful story, with a story where one guy trying to take a boat to Iceland, which is called the Iceland of Peace and Prosperity. But there are sharks on the way. No, the boatman is a captain, and there are passengers who are their teammates. Now, as a captain, as a leader, our job is to keep ourselves and entire team focused on reaching the Iceland of peace and prosperity. So if you look at the scenario, sometimes team members beat each other with the pedals, and they distract the leaders. Leaders start fighting. And sometimes they try to distract leader who is taking command, who is rowing towards the Iceland of peace and prosperity, which is not fair. So in this situation, how to take a control? And these challenges which are represented by shark on the way. Shark reside in the physical realm. That's why I say we have to take care of our physical environment also. As a leader, we must know that leadership is about anything. It is about alignment, and alignment is about focusing energy. And when we can focus our energy, focusing energy is difficult. So when you are in the boat yourself and taking together with your team members, trying to guide entire team, and team is distracting, it is very difficult. And it's nearly impossible when you have a leak in the boat and no one wants to plug it. So you have a team which is not supporting the objective. And then we can view drama. We are able to see it from outside, view it from the bridge. And nipping, see, when we see the drama, there are two ways of dealing with it. One is you start nipping, bud plucking, and another is uprooting. And for uprooting, because at times when there is a guy who is a problem creator, and he resigns, and there is a peace for time being, but after his resigning also, after 6 months, same drama start emerging in the department or an organization. That time you realize it is not the person, it is the system, which is, and a system is allowing, system is giving impetus, system is giving favorable condition to drama. And sometimes what action we take, some incompetent employees are promoted, and some problem creators is moved from this department to another department, giving difficult assignment to show who is the boss. And these are the things. This is just budding. This is just bud nipping. But for uprooting, what Carsten said, we have to look at our systems and procedures and zero tolerance to those systems and procedures, detecting what the non-compliant behavior is, and then taking correct action. Sometimes we give benefit of doubt to the offended employee. At that time, exception becomes the rule. It should not happen. We have to, as a leader, we have to take care of ourselves as a leadership, our leadership style, diagnosing the environment, taking care of team, deciding the role, who is fit for that particular role. Drama will be there, but with this proactive leadership, I think we will be able to foresee and take not corrective, but preventive action. Sometimes drama is also useful because it also creates, gives new opportunity to the department and organization to see the future things, the trend. But drama is undesirable. It is disruptive. So we take care. We will see in next, maybe if time permits, how to deal with drama. Thank you very much, Ms. Dina, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Yugesh. And I really am so impressed how you were able to adapt to the different time zone. So thank you. Thank you for waking up early for us. Thank you.
When commitment is given, it is commitment.
Yeah, thank you. I really do appreciate that. And from Singapore, Yongfook Chyi, Executive Director of Human Capital Singapore HR Power Bank, with more than 26 years of experience in the public sector in Singapore. Seasoned practitioner in leading professional human resource and corporate services teams. Let's welcome to our virtual stage, Mr. Young.
Okay, thank you very much, Dina, for the exciting and energetic introduction. It's about an hour and you're still so high energy and so cool. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for this opportunity to share with you my insights on workplace drama. I suppose we should all acknowledge that from time to time, most of us have experienced or even contributed to workplace drama, right? And workplace drama can take many different forms. People gossiping, spreading rumors, complaining, ranting about a perceived wrong, take sides in conflicts. But if you think about it, no matter what or how the drama manifests itself, this can be highly destructive to a workplace. And leaders and employers, therefore, must take a very tough, zero-tolerance stance against drama. But as the first part, as opposed to understand and dissect the situation, we should first understand how drama happens in the workplace and why it happens. And I offer 4 points. First, inauthentic leadership, right? And this creates and perpetuates the belief that management is hypocritical and that they only talk the talk but don't walk the walk, right? And because of this, employees lose enthusiasm for their jobs, passion for what they want the workplace to represent, and most dangerously, they lose trust. Second, undesired workplace culture. And this is about inconsistency in dealing with conflicts in the workplace. And employees will perceive any level of misconduct not only as unfair, but also as illegal. And in today's social media world, employees' grievance can end up in a blog or a website, and it basically becomes national news. Third, lack of trust. And most employees or leaders convinced that information should not be shared because they are confidential, they are private, and they are personal. And two lessons are clear from this in terms of information being kept secret from others. Employees actually know more than you think they know, and you do more harm than good, since employees know that you are lying, right? So old-fashioned though you may be sound, it pays to be honest. Fourth, lack of accountability. Now, the thought of apologizing by leaders or organizations is unusual, especially in the Asian context. But we all know that we make mistakes, right? And we fail to anticipate problems. And I suppose a workplace made up of leaders and employers who fail to take accountability will generate more drama. So to summarize, if you think how and why workplace drama happens, there are four aspects to the organization: leadership, culture, trust, and accountability. Now, let me share with you some tips of how we can shut down workplace drama. After all, we spend 8 to 10 hours a day in a workplace, physical workplace before COVID pandemic, and now more probably we spend more time in a remote workplace because the line between work and family is blurred. The four tips are: one, model the behavior. So leaders should be above board, fair, respectful, and positive. Never stop examining your own motives and hold yourself to the highest standards. The leader always sets the tone for the workplace behavior, and you will be very careful about the messages that you are sending to employees. Two, be transparent. Drama thrives in secretive environment. This is one of the many reasons why it's a good idea in a workplace to be transparent in information, processes, and systems. Because the less the employees have things to speculate about, the less likely there will be drama in the workplace. In fact, this will build and deepen a desired open and transparent organization culture. Three, hold open conversations. When there is an issue, the goal is to get it fixed and not go behind someone's back and complain. So far better to approach the employee and have an open conversation and solve the problem together. Four, reward and recognize the right behavior. All of us learn by example. All of us want role models, right? So indeed, when you see an employee exhibiting the right behavior, you should give a pat on the back and recognize and appreciate those behavior. So my concluding remark as a panelist is that workplace drama happens because we are dealing with people. Therefore, it's important for each and every one of us to exercise workplace responsibility, not to start the drama, do not perpetuate or repeat the drama, and stop the drama. We can then be productive and have fun at work, achieving a great workplace for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, yes. Wow. I learned a lot from listening to your talk, Mr. Yong. Thank you so much. And by the way, a question has come in. In your experience or in your observation, by the way, any of the speakers can answer this. Is it tolerated? I mean, in your area, in your workplace or organization, is it tolerated when some people start shouting or even swearing, you know, because they just want to get things done fast? And is it being tolerated?
Can I elaborate on my question?
Yes.
So I can tell you directly. I worked for Lazada Vietnam, where we had expats, very young leaders, 32 years old CEO, and also for fintechs, where leaders are very young because they have consulting background, but they don't have any leadership skills, honestly. A lot of startups, people don't have real leadership experience or leadership skills. So the pressure and the speed of startups, where you have $1 million investment, but you have to show numbers very fast, leads to an environment where even people in board meetings constantly use the F word, right? And it's very common. I have seen that in 2 or 3 companies. I'm not a big fan of it because it's very intimidating, but it's from the top leadership, so it trickles down, yeah? And people accept it because they want to work for these very famous startups and because they see the results, and maybe the money is very good, yeah? So how do the other speakers see that? I mean, speed, achievements versus correct culture.
So, well, we already heard from Ramon, from Monching earlier about this particular topic. So we want to hear from others. I mean, it varies, I guess, from country to country, from organization to organization, how it is being tolerated. So obviously you have seen that yourself, I guess, or heard it from others. So how
Let me start by sharing a little, Dina.
Yes, yes.
I should take you back to the days of Marcos in the Philippines when I was there. All right. Now, when the American companies came into Philippines and I was assigned there, the Americans believe in intimidating, and they were very frequent in the kind of words that just what Carlton said. But when that happened in the room, everyone remained quiet and they walked out of the room and there was a lot of gossips. But I was then the project manager of that facility to set up the plant. Now I took a different stand because I understand the culture. It was different. They do not like to be intimidated. They needed to be discussed. And when I took the role and I expressed them what we needed to do and how the plan has to take off, it was a complete different environment. And we were able to set the plan within the first 6 months and we were up on production, right? And because of that, I was asked to stay in the Philippines for 3 years.
Okay.
Because I became an intermediary of the boss. I could take the pressure from the boss whom I knew, but I diverted the pressure in a very cool and calm manner. Now that's one aspect of taking the thing. Now there's another situation I want to say. If one has an opportunity to work in Sudan, in the Middle East, you will understand what I say. They speak reasonably very, very loud. And we cannot take it that they are being rude because generally they speak with a loud tone. And I have spent reasonable years in Sudan, both at the White Nile Petroleum as well as Petronas, not as an employee, but rather as a consultant to get projects off. So it's how we as managers and leaders take it and adjust ourselves. As rightly said by Ramon, it's alignment, how we align to the culture in which we are going to work. And our objective should be very clear. What is it that I want to achieve at the end of the day? And that's simple as that. So that answers the question to Mr. Carsten. I have similar working experience in Vietnam with the Nam Kon Son pipeline, where you can say a lot of things, and I agree with what Carsten say. They're very young managers. They're very young managers, and the kind of experience that they exhibit may be different. So we need to adjust. And rightly to say, Yong shared some useful hints on what things need to be done. And that's how I would really look at how we can avoid a drama-free environment. Thank you.
Wow, yes. Well, of course, in your case, Daram, it really helped that you were able to go to different countries and experience all these particular events. And Also, I noticed that you were not intimidated by the American bosses. You went direct to them.
That's because I knew my boss. He's the one who brought me to the Philippines.
Oh, all right. Okay. So you felt, should we say, you felt free to express your
Yeah.
opinion.
I knew
And
what he was saying.
yes, and I know most Americans will you will gain the respect of your American boss if you speak with him directly and express what's in your mind.
Yeah.
So you gain his respect even more. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes, and yes.
See,
Anybody?
Ms. Dina, I'll share. Like you may be knowing, in India, we have 20 to 25 languages. India is a land of countries, I'll tell you. And people from, there is a place called Punjab. And if you go to Canada, there is a lot of Punjabi and a lot of folk music is also very loud. And there the normal culture is to use abusive language in their normal common parlance, not it. So when they go to different states, like now I'm in the western part, they do not like that. So cultural sensitization is most important thing. And rightly said by Mr. Musharoff in the beginning, because there are three aspects when the leader has to look. Clarity about your choice as a business leader. If you can't collaborate with you should know how to collaborate. And it is not shouting. To understand the team, their temperament, and so collaboration, use different tools. And if you can't see, as a leader, you have to take 100% ownership of the problems and solve it. And second is clarity about who is who is in charge of and how decisions are. So you have to take your administration along with you, take other department leaders with you, then clarity about roles and responsibility. I think there should not be any scope for shouting, any scope for clarity. Things are made clear in the beginning. System is robust. I think there's no scope for shouting and all. I'll share one incident at minute's time. We were conducting a program on communication and leadership, and my co-trainer gave an exercise where, because one aircraft is going and you are 7 guys and you have 5 paratroopers whom you save, that type of this thing. So one lady, because the training was for save department and one lady, she was the team leader of a group, and she said, I will save Mr. X. But the head of the department, who was also there, said X is not efficient. He will not be able to. This was the comment by the boss. And the lady immediately said, he is not inefficient. The people like you do not allow him to work. Now this statement of lady created, the training was stopped and all drama started. So sometimes it is a personal relationship which figure out where now the boss should have not commented when there was a trainer to explain how to it is. So there are, as a leader, we have to see what we are talking, how we are conducting ourselves, and maybe that type of behavior is not warranted now. Abusing, loud voice, people do not like, and we have to be supported. Sometimes leadership role is the supportive role also. If there is a problem with the person, diagnosis and help him to overcome, not by shouting. Collaboration is the best.
Oh, yes, indeed. Thank you, Dr. Yogesh. I really appreciate. Yeah. And Mr. Musharoff, was that you?
Yes.
Yeah? Yes.
Thank you very much. I am really impressed to see the quality of discussion today. I don't want our audience to go back with the understanding that it is the employee who creates the drama. Rather, in my opinion, most of the drama are being created by the supervisors and managers. That is the reality, at least in this part of the world. And just for your information, I have traveled more than 100 countries, studied, worked in different countries, and this is the common scenario that if the boss is right, boss is correct, boss is fair and transparent, many of the drama will be reduced automatically. Because when boss creates drama with his boss or her boss, and also with the subordinate, then it's a game. And in the game, actually, it is the subordinate, they are victim. Boss somehow escape. So that's why I think when we select our leaders and bosses for the organization, we should also see whether this person is a fair person, transparent person, because with all fairness, I can tell you that fairness and transparency can reduce significantly the drama in the organization. And drama in no way is helping the organization. What I have seen that disengaged people usually engage in the drama. And the disengagement is the reason for the bosses and supervisor of not aligning the people, not empowering the people. You all know the index of the engagement. When people have no freedom, no autonomy, no decision-making authority, then people start gaming, and that game started. So if we have the proper delegation, if we have the proper supervision, and if we recognize people, if we give the people rewards and recognition, then drama will significantly reduce. But I have done some study and I have found that in most cases, it is the blame to the subordinate and the employees. But I think it is opposite. Blame should go to the supervisor and the managers. Otherwise, this drama cannot be stopped. I think I should share this concept with all of you, because this is my observation working from more than 100 countries, and this is across the global scene. I go back to the Daram mentioned about the loud voice. Currently, I'm teaching a group of Somali students online. It's a Somali university. If you come to my class, you'll find that it is quarrel. It is not quarrel. Their voice is something like this. You'll feel that they're quarreling with each other. So we have to have the tolerance. If I go to work in the Somalia and people behave like this way, so I should not misunderstand and I should respect their culture. This is their culture and this is their way of pattern of their participation in the class. So it is not a fighting or quarreling, but I see that a lot of people are very good from their heart. So we have to also win the hearts and minds of our people. Then drama will reduce. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. Musharoff. Yes.
Dina?
I believe that is a universal thing that you really need to understand cultures in different places. Yes, Mr. Janaka. Yes.
Dina, this reminds me. These days, I'm working with an IT company. So you have the different generations of workforce in the same organization. Sometimes what happens is maybe people of your friends' children and come and talk to you, say, "Hi, Janaka, how are you?" Maybe though we in Asian cultures, there is hierarchy, but some organizations, some industries, there is no hierarchy. You call by first name. So sometimes even as senior people, you need to understand there is different ways of working. The cultures are different. And also today, there is now a new concept of emerging, working from home to working from anywhere. So people are working from while traveling, while in the beaches. So ultimately what you have to focus is on what you are supposed to do, the delivery. Cut off whatever all other things. So the managers have to ensure, okay, things the employee is supposed to do, let them do it from wherever, however do it. So it's very important. Maybe we need to have a lot of open-mindedness, not to take a lot of things as drama. As far as things happen, the organizational goals and objectives are achieved, the KPIs are achieved, it's fine. So having said that, the leadership has a role to play, minimizing drama, be open, transparent. And we need to understand today we work in a multi-generational environment.
Yes. Wow. And For your information, I understand we have now reached an hour, but we promise that we give each of the speaker 1 to 2 minutes to wind up, your closing remarks. So let me start with our first speaker. The first one was Janaka, but he was just here with us. So let's have Daram first. Yes.
Thank you very much. If I can just say this, if we want to reduce the kind of drama, we got to learn 2 skill words, and though the words are simple, but they mean a lot. First, an HR manager has to learn how to manage to make sure everything is in order. And the other is he must be able to lead, and he has to learn leadership skills where he has to inspire people to follow. And with the right instructions, you will have sufficient knowledge. Then you'll create no drama, or maybe some drama, but it's inevitable. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And let's hear from Dr. Yugesh. Thank you, Daram.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Ms. Dina, thank you. See, when it comes to dealing with people, because when you look at the drama, the people are the most important part of this. So I think as a leader, setting the ground rules for acceptable and unacceptable behavior is in the office. And when people misbehave, look at what is causing this behavior. Because there has to be some undercurrent. And no one should be above rule, including the leader. But I'm reminded when I studied organization behavior, and you all will remember that, there are few things which talks about people, and there are few things which talks about organization. And I'm reminded, as a leader, as a manager, I must hear all humans are not alike. What if somebody is not behaving? What I can do to bring him at par with others? Second aspect is human as a whole. We not hire their skills and we are equally interested in his well-being. Human dignity is one aspect, and last important aspect is behavior is caused. Behavior is, nobody is militant by birth, or it is reaction to the behavior he gets from others, and also towards the policy of the organization. We have to look, behavior is caused. This is the most important aspect. Diagnosis, what is causing? Is it the people, other people, teammate? Is it the leadership style or the system? Diagnose it, take appropriate action. I think we can take care of drama. Thank you.
Yeah, well said. Thank you so much. And let's have Mr. Young. Yes, let's hear from you, Mr. Young.
Hi, thank you. Well, I think it's a very enriching and very good learning platform for every one of us, coming from different countries and different perspectives and different experience. I suppose, after hearing all we have said and discussed, I suppose one come back to the point, right? Why do you join an organization? Why do you work? And where do you want to work? Do you want to work in a place where there's so much drama, so intense, and everybody is critical of everybody, or do you want to work in a great or fun workplace where everybody is, respectful and things like that? So it boils down to this thing about every one of us contributing to the organization culture, right? Remember, people don't leave the organization, people leave leaders, So I think leadership and supervisors plays a very important role in terms of, setting the tone to make sure the workplace is drama-free. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Mr. Young. That was really appreciated. And let's hear from Carsten Ley. Carsten.
Yeah, I would like to add to Mr. Young that people wanna work for companies who care. So the first thing we normally tell companies when we go into employee experience, do you have a culture of care? It means whenever something happens, even when people have a bad day, or you really don't confront, you really try to understand why people behave in a certain way, why misunderstandings happen, right? And people feel at ease because they trust the organization, and it's a company where you take care of people, not only of the business. So that's our greatest advice, actually. Try to create a culture of care, right? Leaders care, everybody care, HR cares. HR is not an admin department. HR really cares about how people feel, yeah? And when you have a culture of care, people will perform. So think about that first and then think about performance. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ley. Yes. And of course, let's hear from Ramon, Monching, Austria.
Thank you, Ms. Dina. Well, I'll never forget this. One of my mentors here in the Middle East told me there will still be a lot to come. And he said to me, he looked me straight down to the eye and he said, so when life throws you a lemon, and make a lemonade. Okay? I repeat, when life throws you a lemon, make a lemonade. At the beginning, I don't understand that. But moving along, then it came clear to me, indeed. So he liked me to stay flexible, to stay open, because there is just a lot to learn. And having to embrace an open mind, a soft and tender heart, in other words, you're open to absorb everything, then you will not get wrong. Even though that issues or dramas will blow up and escalate, still maintain. It's a lemon, make a lemonade out of it.
Yes.
Back to you, Ms. Dina.
Thank you, Mon. And we will have our for his final remarks, Janaka.
Thank you, Dina. When people stay in the same office for a long time, see each other, these things happen. So the global pandemic is giving us an opportunity. We are to work on this hybrid work environment. So the concept of office can change or is changing, where you don't come to office every day. Maybe you work from home or anywhere. So sometimes this also can reduce drama, because when you see each other, same places, same people, long hours with them, so there the emotions and other things are reminded. But when your environment change, your peers change, so it might change. So this is an opportunity for the world also to be more productive by focusing on working from anywhere, where you have remote workers, office workers, consultants working. So ultimately you are there to work and contribute rather than just spend 8 hours or 8+ hours in the organization. So let's also use these environmental happenings for the favor of the organization. Thank you very much, Dina, for moderating nicely, and all the panelists for a great sharing of knowledge and the entire great audience. Thank you.
Right. Yes. And, you know, I was so grateful to Mr. Musharoff for the feedback that he gave us, because indeed, some people might mistake or have a misconception that it's always employees. So, of course, he put us on track. Of course, it's not always employees. Some might create drama, but there's got to be a reason for that. Now, I just want to give you a quick example of how an executive, an entrepreneur can make things happen coming from the heart and with a great deal of generosity. We recently interviewed for our Leaders Edge program, Mr. David Almirol. He used to work in some foreign countries so that he can help his family to survive. And then he realized he needed to come back and help his family. So he went through struggles, but he decided to put up his own business. And of course, the first 3 times he failed and he lost his home, his parents lost his home. But guess what? This guy, from rags to riches, he is now one of the richest people in the Philippines. He is now a billionaire. And here's what he revealed to us. But I don't know if this will work in an organization where there are different generations, because his people, it's a technology company, you see. So his people are all very, very young. So what he has done is he does not impose office hours, this is strictly, you work from this, no. And he provided for those of his people who find difficulty in transportation, he provided free housing and free meals, breakfast all the way to dinner for his people. And at the same time, he wants them to have fun, so there's always a time for games, so they have playrooms, you know. And his people, in such a short time, he started only with himself, by the way, he worked by himself. Then he started to have 5 people. And then from 5, he now has thousands of people, and all young. And they are the ones helping him to rake in all the money, because everybody's happy, you know, and there's no crossword. He's very humble. He's very kind, very compassionate. So I can attest to this. I can assure you there's no drama in his workplace, no drama at all. So one of those unique organizations, but it's because of the person who owns it, and he runs the show, and he makes everybody feel happy. And the work to them is not work, it is fun. It's like a game, you know. So he even calls them his superheroes, and he has given them names like Thor, you know, the superheroes. And they all love him, and he loves them back. So just thought that I just wanted to mention that there are, you know, still drama-free workplaces, and it depends on the boss, the one running the show. Yes, his name is David Almirol. So you can look him up, but he's one of the billionaires of my country now.
Wow, that's great, Dina. I think some people are starting to leave. We get amazing good feedback in the chat, so well done, everybody. Before everybody is leaving, let's take a quick screenshot, ideally with all the cameras on. If you can put all your cameras on, that would be nice. And we make a screenshot from the audience to put it online. So I give you 1-2 minutes to put your camera on, please.
Let me thank all of you, but otherwise it was very difficult for us. Thank you for your time and energy for doing this. And on behalf of Asian Network of People and Organization Development, and on behalf of myself as a chair, thank all of you, the speakers and the participants. Thank you very much. We will be coming definitely in future with another emerging topic. Thank you very much.